Hakadosh Boker Or Masechet Sotah Daf Kaftet Amud Aleph 29a1. So we just said that if you're going to tell me now that a Kohen, that the Yisur to get married for a Kohen, you do not need a pasuk, because we're talking about Shariah Saba Safek Zon. Shariah Safek Zona Kezona. That the Kadosh Baruch Hu came, the pasuk comes and he says that the Sotah has Safek Zona. So therefore, when it says that by the Kohen, when we're talking about the Yisur Sotah to get married to Kohen, we don't need a pasuk, because the pasuk said made her like a Safek Zona, like a Vadai Zona. Meaning we don't know if she actually committed adultery, but she's like a Vadai Zona. So Truma Nami Lo Baikra. So Truma also doesn't need a pasuk. Shariah Saba Safek Zona Kezona. Was a pasuk made a Safek Zona like a Zona. Okay? And therefore, if she's like a Zona, Gamanu, she can't get married to a Kohen. Ella, but rather, according to Rabbi Akiva, Arba'a Kra'iktive. There's 4 different psukim written by her. Because it says Nitme'a, and then it says Venitme'a. Chalabal v'chalabuel. One of them is to the husband, one of them is to the one that has relations with her. Chala kiuna, one of them is for the kiuna, and one of them is for truma. Why does it say actually 4? He says, it says twice nitme'a, and then Rabbi Kiva says the extra vav of benitme'a. So therefore you have, because it says twice nitme'a. Nitme'a. The third time it says venitme'a. So since the third time it says venitme'a with extra vav, is like an extra one. So it's like 4. So you have one for the husband, one that she's prohibited to the husband, because she's a tutah. One for the boel, one for that she's not allowed to get married to Kohen ever again, and one for the truma, unless she becomes obviously pure when she's drinking it, right? One for truma. Rabbi Ishmael, trata kreative. It's only 3, right? One for the husband, for the boel, and for the truma. Ukiuna, you learn it from a kal vachomer. Ate bekal vachomer. But Rabbi Ishmael, and according to Rabbi Ishmael, how do we know now that we are going to need a pasuk for truma? So he comes and he says, maybe the opposite. Maybe we need it for the kiuna, and it's going to be permitted for truma, meaning that she's going to be permitted to come and to eat truma. So Amalecha, so he's going to come and he's going to tell you, mistabra, right? It's logical, dumya de ba'al uboel, that it's going to be like the husband and the baal and the boel. Ma ba'al uboel mechayim, just like the baal and the boel. It's going to be done from life. Truma nami mechayim. So to truma also is going to be from the life. La'apuke keuna, this comes to exclude from truma, which means truma is going to be prohibited onto the sotah during the lifetime of the husband. So too, this comes to exclude the keuna, that it's only after the death of the husband. Meaning, if you say that she's prohibited to get married to a Kohen, what are we referring to? Right? If he divorces her, anyway, she's prohibited to a Kohen. She's a grusha. So we're talking about that the husband died. But if the husband died, so it's only after death. It's not during the lifetime. Truma is during the life of the husband. So the kuna is after the life of the husband. So the 2 different halachot, obviously, over here. Okay? So therefore, he says she's still considered neshetish. Okay? So you cannot compare the case of kiuna not to the baal and to the boel. So that's why he just says, Rabbi Yishmael says the pasuk shlishi is talking about truma, and kiuna is actually a kal vachomer. Rabbi Akiva, and according to Rabbi Akiva, dumya de baal boel letle. He doesn't hold of this thing that it's like the baal and the boel. He doesn't hold of all these things. Okay, v'inami ita, and even if you would hold of it, means that sometimes even if you could learn it from a kal vachomer, the pasuk will still come and actually learn it. Okay, Amar of Gidal Amar Rav, says of Gidal name of Rav. What the difference between that you could ask a person or not ask a person, they learn it from this pasuk. The pasuk says, it says, kochim, that touches anything which is tameh, you shouldn't eat it. Vadai tamehu de lo yachel. Right? Something which is vadai tameh, you're not allowed to eat it. Right? Ha safek tameh, safek taor yachel. But if it's safek tameh, safek taor, you could eat it. Ema seifa, let's see the seifa. Vabasar, kol taor yochal basar, anything which is taor, you could eat it. Vadai taor yochal basar. It's vadai taor, you could eat it. But if it's safek tameh, safek taor, lo yochal, you can't eat it. So therefore, there's a stira. In one place, it's mashma that is safek, you could not eat it. In the other place, it's mashma that is safek, you could eat it. So what's going on? Right? So he comes and he says, it all depends whether you could ask or not. If right now you've got that lishael, so safek tameh. If right now it's embodal lishael, so therefore safek taor. But since you can't ask anything, so therefore it's going to be that we're going to learn that it's going to be safek tahor. It's going to be the safek is going to be permitted. Okay. So he comes down and he says as follows. So he says, "V'itzrich," and we need it. Rav Gidel Amarav says, "V'itzrich," right? So we need the limud of Rav Gidel Amarav, right? That the difference between davar sheish bo dali shel and not, whether you could ask it or not, and the itzrich the bigvar misotah. We also need it from Sotah, right? The imi de Rav, because if you're going to tell me now that we learn it from Rav, Hava mina, I would have thought to say ben reshut yachid and reshut rabim, whether it's going to be a reshut rabim and reshut yachid, it's the same halacha. The itzrich lemimar Sotah. Therefore, you have to learn from Sotah. That what? That there's a difference between reshut yachid and reshut rabim. The imi Sotah, and if it's going to be Sotah, Hava mina, I would have thought to say adika dat nogea umagia. You need the dat from both of them together. Meaning by the Sotah, both the woman and the boel, you could ask them. So therefore, I would have thought to say that it has to be by both together. When you have somebody touching, whether it's going to be a sheretz or not, you have to be able to ask both of them. So you can ask both of them. So tzricha, that's why I need both of the limudim. Bo bayom darash Rabbi Kiva, right? So we're on the two dots on the bottom of the page. Bo bayom darash Rabbi Kiva v'chol kli cheres hashivah mentocho kasher betocho yitma. Anything that comes inside of it is going to become tameh. Umeachar de'en lo, so lama tameh. If right now, according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, we're talking about the pasuk of the Torah. We're talking about that the truma becomes a shlishi letumah. So why is it tameh? So I'm Rav Yudam mina Torah, en lo. There's no such thing as truma, which is shlishi. But midin kal v'chomer yeshlo. But midin kal v'chomer. Umat tvul yom shemutar b'chuli poseh b'tumah. A tvul yom. Somebody that say, for example, let's say he has shechvat zera. Right? He has relations with his wife. Now he's got shechvat zera. He becomes tameh. In the morning he goes to the mikveh. Now he's called a tvul yom. Until the nighttime, then he's going to be pure. If a tvul yom is allowed to eat chulin, but he's not allowed to eat truma.
If you went to the mikveh in the morning,
just like tvul yom is going to be mutar b'chulin, it's going to be pasul b'truma. Kikar sheni shepasul b'chulin. En odin she'aseh shlishi b'truma. Kikar sheni that is going to be pasul b'chulin. Isn't it going to be that it's going to be making a shlishi for truma? So ikal mifras, we're going to ask a question. Ma tvul yom sheken avatuma. You have tvul yom that is going to be avatuma. So he says, Teiti, we're going to bring it from a kal v'chomer, kaftet amubet. Teiti mitvul yom sheretz. You're going to bring it from the tvul yom and a sheretz. A sheretz is an avatuma, and a tvul yom, that at the beginning was a rishon, not an avatuma. So we can learn it from the kal v'chomer. Ma tvul yom, just like a tvul yom of a sheretz. Sheken b'mino avatuma. 1 second. When you have a tvul yom of a sheretz, you have a tzad chamur, that whether it's going to be a tvul yom, it's like an adam or a keli, right? You have a avatuma. So he says, Kli cheres yochiach. So Kli cheres is going to be mochiach, right? It's going to bring to prove to you that even something which is not an avatuma, right? It could still be posel and truma, which means a Kli cheres is not an avatuma. Remember, a human being is a viavot. Sheretz is an avatuma. The Kli cheres is going to bring a proof that it's not an avatuma, and still it's going to be mitameh. Ma Kli cheres sheken mitameh me'aviro. Just like the Kli cheres is going to be mitameh, right? It's not going to be mitameh b'maga, right? It's going to be ma'aviro. So too, the kikar should not be mitameh b'maga. So he says, tvul yom mochiach. Tvul yom is going to be mochiach, but it's not going to be mitameh derech aviv, to be posel l'tumah. The chozer adin, and then we have a binyan av, what's called. Which means each one has a positive and a negative, right? The tvul yom is not like a Kli cheres, and the Kli cheres is not like a tvul yom. So therefore, but the tzad hashava shebahen, because the kli, right? The kli of tvul yom is not chamur like a kli cheres, and still the tvul yom is going to be pasul truma. So you cannot come and say that. But he says, so tzad hashava shebem, the common denominator between them is going to be shemutarin bechulin uposim truma. It's mutar to eat chulin, it's pasul betruma. Kol sheken, the more so. Right? One kaftet amubet, yeah, 29b. Kol sheken, the more so. Kikar sheni. If you have a piece of bread which is going to be a sheni, sheposel bechulin, which is going to be posel and chulin. Right, which means it's pasul for chulin. The posel bitruma, it's going to be posel bitruma, and it's going to make it into a shlishi. The dor acher parich. Now another generation, they're going to come and they're going to ask, malet tzad hasheva sheben sheken yesh tzad chamur. He says, yeah, but each one has a chumrah, right? Whether it's talking about the kikar, they all have a tvul yom and they have a chumrah. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, he says tzad chamur, but you cannot ask on the binyan av, right, to do with the concept of this. Okay, which is basically tzad chamur lo parich. Tanya, we learned in a braita. Amar Rabbi Yosef, says Rabbi Yosef, minayin lerevi'i bekodesh shepasul. How do we know by revi'i of a kodesh that it's going to be pasul? So it says the Gemara v'dinu tzadin ma mechusa kippurim shemutar bitruma pasul bekodesh. If you have a person that he's lacking, right? That's what we talked about the tfilato b'mikveh. You remember I said that a person that's tameh Chelek of the ta'arato is that he has to bring a korban also. Okay, that means he has to bring a korban. So, but he's allowed to eat truma the second it becomes nighttime, but he's not going to be pasul, right? Bekodesh, he's not allowed to eat the kodesh, which kodshim, until he brings his korban. Shlishi shepasul b'truma nodin sheyaser revi'i bekodesh. So, if truma is a shlishi, shouldn't it make it a revi'i in kodesh and korbanot? L'amanu shlishi kodesh min haTorah, revi'i b'kal v'chomer. So, it comes out the shlishi by kodesh is min haTorah, and revi'i is going to be a kal v'chomer. So he says, okay, fine. Shlishi lekodesh. How do you know that? How do you know that a shlishi is min haTorah by kodesh, by kodshim, by korbanot? The meat that touches anything which is tameh, you shouldn't eat it. Milo askina, we're not talking about the naga b'sheni that he touched the sheni. But the Torah says lo yachel, don't eat it. So therefore, that comes from the Torah. So it comes out from the Torah. If you have a sheni touching kodesh, the kodesh becomes a shlishi. That's min haTorah. And therefore, the Vi'i, they learn it from a kal v'chomer, just like we said before. Remember, the only thing that could ever become a Revi'i is kodshim, which is korbanot. The only thing that ever could become a shlishi is truma and kodshim. And chulin, maximum stops by sheni. Okay? Amar Rabbi Yochanan, says Rabbi Yochanan, ta'am beRebbi, the ta'am of Rabbi Yosef, I don't know what the ta'am of Rabbi is. Right? Sharet shuvato betzido, because you have the kal v'chomer right beside it. Ochel aba mechamat tvul yom, when you have ochel, which is coming because of tvul yom yochiach, right? Shepasul b'truma, he's going to be pasul b'truma, and he doesn't make a revi'i mekodesh. So if so, how does Rabbi Yossi learn a kal v'chomer from shlishi that it's going to be make it to revi'i? You don't have a kal v'chomer. So says Gemara, the time we learned to write Abba Shulum, and Abba Shulum says tvul yom techila lekodesh. Tvul yom is the beginning of a kodesh. L'tameh shnayim v'lifsol echad. To be metameh, right? Shnayim. Right, and to be poseh. We learned to the right. Abba Shalom comes and he says, "Tvul yom tchila lekodesh letameh shnayim v'lifsol echad." To be metameh kodesh, right, and to be posel echad. So Rabbi Meir Omer, what does that mean? That we're going to talk about that you're making a kodesh, a shani, that is going to make a shlishi to make a revi. Rabbi Meir Omer, Rabbi Meir says, metameh echad u posel echad. It's going to be metameh one thing, but it's going to be posel something else. Remember, the concept of metameh and posel means is that metameh could make something else tameh. Posel means that it becomes tameh, but it stops there. It doesn't continue. Chachamim say, Keshem sheposel ochle truma mashke truma. Just like a tvul yom is going to be posel truma and mashkin of truma, so it's going to be posel kodesh and mashke kodesh. So matkif Rabbi comes and asks one question. How do we know that Rabbi Yosef holds like Rabbanan? Dilma kabashul sfirle. Maybe he holds like kabashul. The amar letamesh na'im lifsol echad. There's going to be metameh two, and it's going to be posel echad, which is a revi. So therefore, you're going to have a kal v'chomer like Rabbi Yosef. So says the Gemara, he said that kabashul sfirle. If you hold like kabashul, laitel revi bekodesh, you're going to bring a revi in kodesh. Shemeochel sheba mechamat tvul yom. To do with ochel, which is coming from tvul yom. Uma ochel aba mechamat tvul yom, just like ochel that comes from a tvul yom. The tvul yom gufeh, the tvul yom itself. Mutar bechulin is going to be permanent in chulin. Amarta, and you still said, or revi bekodesh, or right, it's going to make a revi in a kodesh. Ochel shlishi aba mechamat sheni. When you have ochel shlishi, which is coming from a sheni, which means you have a shlishi that became tameh because of a sheni. The sheni gufeh, that the second one itself is a tzur bechulin. Eno din shel said revi because it shouldn't make a revi in kodesh, right? And therefore that's yes or not. And then we're going to say v'chitema about yes or not.